On my 2008 F-150, the shocks and struts were worn out and they ruined my tires. So I'm going to be adding the Rough Country N3 leveling struts to the front, the Bilstein 5100 shocks to the rear, and the auto spring add-a-leafs. And on those auto spring add-a-leafs, online at the time it said they add 950-pound cargo capacity. But when I spoke on the phone to Kevin, the owner, he said that for the F-150s it's 750 pounds approximately, and the 950 is for the F-250s and above. So I wanted to show a quick video that this can be done at home in your garage, and a quick before and after, and then a quick review once it's all on there and see how it feels. Just want to show real quick what I had to remove besides the strut, upper bolts and bottom bolts. So I have the new strut in. I had to take loose the tie rod, the upper ball joint, and the sway bar. So the problem I ran into on the other side was getting everything back together just with the length of the new strut. So what I ended up having to do is tie a ratchet strap around the top and the bottom to pull it then back together to start feeding this bolt in. And then what I ended up having to do is use the weight of the vehicle to help compress everything to feed the bolt back in. And when I used the weight of the vehicle, I was able to feed the tie rod back in. Okay, so I just got the rear apart. Everything was going real good, real smooth until I got to the center pins for the leaf spring. One of them wasn't coming off. I got the nut off just barely, and then it just kept spinning, even if I held it with vice grips and other things. I ended up having to cut it off. The new leaf springs came with new pins, so I couldn't get my 4.5-inch grinder in there without grinding on something else that I didn't want to be grinding on. So I ended up having to use my little Dremel tool to get in there and cut it off. I got the leaf springs and shocks in on both sides. The problem I ran into on the driver's side is the parking brake cable is tight under the leaf spring, and when I had to lower the rear axle to make room, it was pulling on the cable way too much, and I had to remove a bracket on the rear diff to give a little bit more slack, but it still pulled more than I was comfortable with. But I had to make it happen, but I got it in there now. I just want to mention real quick that when you lift the rear end, make sure you chock the front wheels. I just got these cheap chocks from Harbor Freight, but they're sturdy and I know they work because when I was done, I tried to drive off and they stopped me from driving off. This is the stock suspension right now, and it's on 32-inch tires with about half of the tread left. All right, so this is what it looks like with just the front done. I still have to do the rear. It raised it exactly 2 inches, and the tops of the wheel wells are the exact same measurement, front and rear. When I first lowered the vehicle, it was about 3 inches tall, but once I moved the vehicle, drove a little bit, it settled down to exactly 2 inches higher. So here's what it looks like with the front and rear done. Still sitting on the ruined, half worn out 32-inch tires. From here I need to get an alignment and new tires, and then we'll really see how the suspension works out. I got the new tires on and an alignment was done. I bumped up one size to 33-inch tires. I did a little bit of off-road, some rough gravel roads, some dirt roads, and some steep hills that needed four-wheel drive. So I'll just do a quick review of the products. So appearance-wise, it's what I was looking for, it's what I wanted. I think it looks great. I couldn't go any taller because I haul a lot in the bed. Performance-wise, I have mixed feelings. At normal driving speeds, both low speed and high speed, I think it felt great, better than stock. But it's the extreme slow speeds, like crawling speeds, that I was getting a lot of rebound in the front, and it bothered me. So I don't know if that's a normal thing or that should be expected. If you all have any experience with that, let me know. Hopefully this video helps somebody make a decision on what to get.